On this episode, we talk about 3 electric vehicles, including the 2019 Hyundai Kona EV that we just bought at the track, the announcement of the Tesla Model Y, and a promise of a Fisker SUV. We also take audience questions next on Talking Cars. Welcome to Talking Cars. I'm Jennifer Stockberger.
I'm Ryan Pizlakowski.
And I'm Keith Barry.
So we have a lot to get through today. You'll see kind of a common thread to the cars we're going to talk about. So the first is new news. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the announcement of the Tesla Model Y. So Ryan, got any details on the Model Y?
Yeah, so the Model Y is going to be like a Model 3 jacked up with a taller roof. It's going to be a little SUV.
SUV-ish? Yeah.
7, they're claiming it can hold 7 people, which is pretty impressive, figuring it's going to be on a Model 3 platform. So there's going to be a long-range version for about $47,000 in 2020, and then 2021 they're going to come out with the performance version for about $60,000, kind of like they did with the Model 3.
Right.
The expensive ones come first, and then the affordable-ish ones come after that. But it's going to be fast, just like the Model 3. Probably fun to drive, I'd imagine. The Model 3 it had some things we didn't care for the first time. Right. The door handles, some of the controls.
Yeah.
Screen.
The Model Y is probably going to have some of this stuff, but it was fun to drive. Yeah.
But that's good though, because it shows that Tesla is actually, it's not reinventing the wheel every time that they make a new car. That this is this car is based, you said platform, like it's based on something else that they're already making.
Right, which I think they struggled with the Model X, was this futuristic, a little too far out there kind of a car it just didn't catch. You know. We'll see.
It's good. I mean, I think production-wise as well. It means that they can build something based on what they've already learned, and it's iterative. It's not like they're going to go out and do something groundbreaking. It's they're moving in a direction that people want. People want crossovers.
Yep.
People want Teslas. So make a crossover Tesla.
Right, and then the standard safety features, forward collision warning, blind spot monitoring,
all that stuff.
Automatic emergency braking, which is we love. So.
Right, and I think we covered, we certainly covered it. The keys to success will be delivering it when they say they're going to deliver it.
Right.
So they were closest on the Model 3, but people can get on there and order it now. You can put your pre-order in now. So getting it when they say they're going to. So similar lines, luxury, electric, is Fisker. The return of the Fisker. So no name yet, but another all-electric SUV. Keith?
Yeah, this is one I'm not entirely as optimistic about. I'm just going to get right out there and say it. So Fisker is named after this guy, Henrik Fisker. He's a Dutch car designer, genius, brilliant. Right. The person, the guy behind the BMW Z8, makes some beautiful cars. Then the Fisker Karma, which I know we have some thoughts about that.
My hair stands up a little bit.
Yeah, that company is no longer. This is a new company called Fisker Inc. It's not Fisker Automotive anymore, but it's still Henrik Fisker, so his name's still on it. So this is, we've been hearing a lot of rumblings from Fisker that they were going to come out with this new car, the eMotion. It was supposed to have this groundbreaking new type of battery that was supposed to charge in 2 minutes and really amazing, and it was going to be out by 2020. This is not that car.
Right.
This is an SUV that gets like a 300-mile range and costs about $40,000. There is no production facility. There isn't even a prototype. There's just a picture. I think someone was really good in Photoshop and was able to create this.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Right.
There are a lot of companies out there that have said things like this. And to be clear, Henrik Fisker, I don't think would have trouble finding a place to produce a car. He's done these builds before.
Right.
But a little. Well, I mean, why don't you tell us what happened with the Karma?
Yeah, so we brought up the Fisker Karma.
The Karma was beautiful looking car. I mean, it had this
to Henrik Fisker's.
Yeah, the styling was
notoriety.
Phenomenal. I mean, it was a real eye catcher. It was super long, kind of like Batmobile-ish. I mean, this thing was it was big, and it did not perform so well. I think we had roughly 200 miles on it, and it went back to the dealer on a flatbed because it was paralyzed in our parking lot.
It actually died on the track, like we couldn't move it.
Yeah, it was not a good look. the car was, super heavy. It weighed like, I think I actually looked it up, 5,395 pounds. That's heavier than a Dodge Durango. So put that in perspective, that's ridiculous.
It's tiny inside, right?
And the interior was so tight. I mean, I barely fit it. My head would touch the ceiling in the front seat with it all the way down. The back seat, forget it.
Right.
And this car was huge. I mean, it was long. The cockpit was tiny. It was, the interior had beautiful suede, but some of the materials weren't really that nice. The car was $108,000, and it was just not there. I mean, it had a little 4-cylinder turbo from GM in the engine bay, this enormous engine bay that kicked on when you ran out of your 40-mile range of electricity. And it sounded like a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine. It was
out of this beautiful
it was not put together well. It looked nice from about 20 yards. And that was it.
And I think that's your point. The reliability, we had so many issues with it, but that's not even the performance score. The performance issues were.
It didn't perform either.
It didn't perform either.
It was a flop.
Yeah.
Well, Colin Powell and Justin Bieber owned them.
Right.
So how can
everybody should have one?
How early 2000s can you get?
That's who I look to when I buy a car. I want to know if Colin Powell had it and Bieber.
Especially him.
Yeah. Then I go look for it.
Well, we'll
hopefully
see.
it's better than that.
We'll see. And I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for anything that comes along, and any new company, anything interesting.
Right.
But you need a place to build it if you're going to build a car.
But to your point, they're building what people are buying. These
SUVs,
compact luxury SUVs, and the electric. Anytime the technology can lead from a Fisker or a Tesla and trickle down is always a good thing. So bring it on.
The technology is getting better. I mean, in 2012, that was earlier days.
Yeah.
It's come a long way since then. So hopefully they can put something together.
Even our notes, 300 miles range, 300 miles range. That's
the number that
key.
people, I guess, feel
good number,
comfortable with. Yeah.
So keeping with our electric trend.
And a crossover
trend. I said you'd see some threads in this episode. Here they are. But this is a much more mainstream vehicle. We have delivery now of the 2019 Hyundai Kona EV. We paid about $42,000, all electric.
And that's before tax incentives.
Right. That's the sticker. I will say that. Promising range, 258 miles, promised. Obviously, we'll see what that does. It expands, if you don't remember, the Hyundai Kona gas version was recently a top pick for our April stories. That whole segment, subcompact SUVs, has some compromises. The Kona definitely stood up above the others in not feeling as compromised. Did you get a chance to drive it, Keith?
The EV?
Yes,
yeah.
the EV.
I drove both of them.
Yep.
And I mean, honestly, you get into it, and aside from a slightly weird sort of central console layout, it just feels like a normal car.
Yeah.
You open the trunk, it's the same, it's the same. The seats fold down. There's nothing weird about it.
Yep.
I mean, the grille has kind of an odd sort of little pattern on it. I think it's kind of cool. It might be a little polarizing. But driving it, I mean, it's one of the things we didn't like about the regular Kona is that it was a little sluggish.
Yeah.
It was a little sluggish, and that little 4-cylinder just didn't do it.
Again, that whole segment.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And this car, that electric motor, I mean, it's not a rocket ship, but it moves.
Right.
And
it
then
moves
the center of gravity, I mean, everything about it just makes it, electrifying this car makes it a better car.
Yep.
Except for one of our coworkers had it during a snowstorm, of one of those great late March snowstorms that we get here, and it was just enough. And he found himself kind of going about 25 miles an hour, looking out the side windows forwards, really trying to get traction back. Right. And I mean, I think that's one of the issues. Electric cars, you have that torque. This is also a front wheel drive only. It looks like a crossover, but it does not come with all-wheel drive.
Right.
And also the tires too, right?
Yeah.
So this is not.
Yeah.
We've seen this before.
Yeah.
Electrics, hybrids, right?
Right. So it's a front wheel drive car. And it's electric. So it's got electricity, torque. It's Torque City. It's the front wheels are doing the driving and steering. So from the factory, they're going to put a low rolling resistance tire on this car to get the best numbers they can.
And number is super important for them because they wanted to beat the bull.
Yes.
They wanted to squeeze anything out of this.
In fact, any car nowadays one of the easiest things you can do to a car from the factory is slap on a set of tires that are low rolling resistance to get a mile or two, better
Gas or
mileage.
electric, right?
We've actually done testing.
So what are these? What are these tires
They're
specifically?
low rolling resistance tires, which means they take less resistance to roll, which means the car has to use less energy to go. Essentially,
right.
Exactly.
Right. So we've actually done some testing in our tire department, where we've taken two different brand new sets of tires, a high rolling resistance tire and a low rolling resistance tire, and we've seen 2 to 3 miles per gallon difference on the highway, which doesn't seem like a lot. That's actually huge. I mean, you don't just get that for nothing. And so, obviously they're going to slap these tires on a car like this. And typically we find that tires that have really low rolling resistance might have a little, no traction will be a little bit down, and wet grip is not as good.
And that was the other thing he noticed, that in the sort of in a puddle,
Slushy rain,
pulling away from a stop, the wheels, there's wheel spin in almost all EVs that are front wheel drive.
Yeah, it kind of got two things going against it there.
Instant
in regular
torque and lack of
conditions.
grip.
I mean, I think you said it well. That car, the electric motor makes that car a little nicer.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that heavy. It still drives nice. The only thing that I didn't like with the console, like you mentioned, is it's a little funny, but it's wider.
Yeah.
And I'm a little more cramped.
You need the room.
But other than that, it's a normal car. The regular Kona, I loved it because I could get in it and just drive. I didn't have to figure out the screens like in the Model 3 or anything funky. It's just a normal car.
I think it's worth noting, too, that you can change that grip issue with a different tire.
Right. You're not stuck with that.
That also may mean you change your range.
A little bit, yeah.
So when you get to the point where you're replacing that not grippy original equipment tire, yes, you can fix that, but you can compromise your range as well.
Now, when it comes to range, I know we haven't done anything official, but we have seen, at least when I was driving it, the number on the dashboard.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's pretty close.
Yeah.
So if it's not like one of these cars that says it has a 258 mile range, and all of a sudden you turn on the heater and it drops to 100.
Yes.
So
1 mile was 1 mile
So
in
if you
range.
lose a couple, if you put snows on it for the winter and you lose a little bit of range, I don't think it's going to be the end of the. I don't think it's going to make this car undrivable. I think that this is. I love it. Honestly, I really like it. So
A couple of things I noted. One was you talked about the console. We had this great, simple, great controls in the Kona Gas. They replaced that nice, simple gear selector with push buttons. I was like,
They're not terrible, but it's not the shifter that it was.
But that whole console, like the seat heaters, everything moved back. There's this big storage pocket. I wasn't as big of a fan as the simple, easy to use Kona Gas that had a nice gear selector. So that was one. Still, the touchscreen and everything was great. I did notice, too, the range being fairly accurate when I was driving, but it was cold last night.
Right.
We were in like about our 20s last night. I lost about 20 miles just in the overnight.
Yeah.
I pulled in the driveway at 179, it was 159.
And parked outside, same thing.
Right,
Turn
same
on the
thing.
heater the next morning, the defroster, same thing.
This is common with
Yes.
electric cars.
Yeah, and I just, that did happen, though I agree with you, it was pretty accurate. If I drove a mile, range dropped a mile. So very promising. Obviously, we'll put it through the full test program, so stay tuned. So we're going to move on to some viewer questions. We have one video question. Thank you, Nathaniel, for sending it in. As always, we love the videos, especially. Keep them coming. TalkingCars@iCloud.com. And let's see what Nathaniel's got to say.
So I'm here watching your 2017 Jeep Compass review. You guys say that people have a lot of affection and love for the Jeep brand, but they might be taking that love and affection and breaking some hearts with it. And then you guys also say that people who own very old and historic nameplates, when they typically own those cars and the cars are killed off and come back nowadays and they're all swoopy styling and everything, but they have the same name but nothing to do with the older car. You guys say that people of the Jeep Cherokee, the older ones, like you see here, normally or don't gravitate towards the new one. I just would like to know, what research do you guys have showing that owners of the older Jeep Cherokee don't love the new Jeep Cherokee? Thank you.
So Nathaniel's question, I think, touches on two different things. So the first is this difference between reliability and owner satisfaction. They are two very different metrics, which we include both in our overall scores. Reliability being, did you have any problems with this car during your ownership? And owner satisfaction just being, do you like it?
Right.
And we have many cars where one doesn't necessarily coincide with the other. So we have ones that have super reliability, for example, Honda Fit, Hyundai Kona is one, but owner satisfaction is just meh. They're happy with it, but not overwhelmed. The other way, I think, is kind of more what Nathaniel's leading to, of cars that reliability is really pretty low, but people love it anyway. And that's usually cars, I think, that either are super sporty, they have something different to offer, or a lot of these hybrid or electric vehicles. Corvette, Bolt, Stinger, Porsche 911, Leaf, the Teslas. Owner satisfaction is super high. Reliability is not super high. So I think that's part of the story, is these iconic names.
And Jeep, I mean, you can't
Right,
get
and
a
that's
more
what I was
iconic
going
name.
It's nostalgia.
And that data, no car is more dichotomous than that Jeep Wrangler.
Right.
It has fair reliability and excellent owner satisfaction. People just love their Jeeps.
The Cherokee, the regular Cherokee was just a very basic vehicle back in the day. It was pretty reliable.
Yeah.
And the new one, not quite as much, but it's a little bit of nostalgia there. People like,
that
the
XJ
name
Cherokee
is there.
just,
Yeah.
Right. And I do think the Jeep has trickled into the Cherokees.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising
No,
to me
not at all. Yeah.
that, and he talks about the Cherokee, the new Cherokee. It's about mid-pack for both owner satisfaction and reliability. So if they're very happy with it, in doing my notes today, I was listening to you about Fisker and the Karma. This whole idea of the name and the nostalgia is
It can be good and bad.
is the new Fisker automatically downgraded in people's minds
little
because
bit,
of the
unfortunately.
Karma?
Yeah.
As
If I
If I
famous
opened
as
a company
Fisker
called
is,
Enron,
Right.
people might not want to, might not want to get their,
get involved.
yeah, exactly.
but yeah, the name can be a booster, as we've talked about,
Right.
Mustang and Beetle and all those classics. In Fisker's case, are they hurting
Now the
potential?
Thunderbird. Remember when Ford brought back the new T-Bird? And
Yes.
I think Nathaniel did a really good job at kind of calling us out and saying maybe sometimes nostalgia or sometimes this love for these cars does carry over.
Right.
Sometimes remember the Mercury Cougar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
Not a
sometimes putting a
success.
name on there does not do it.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. And I mean, and I think, to me, it's like a restaurant, if there's that restaurant that you always went to with your family for birthdays and stuff, and you wonder, you look at the food and it's sort of objectively maybe not that great, but people just still go there because it's familiar and the booths are comfortable and you know the waitress and it's, it's one of those, it's near your house, and I think that's what it is with Jeep for a lot of people, that they're comfortable with it.
Right.
It's having a Jeep in the driveway means something, whether
and they've done very well with this older one, Nathaniel's friend. So can go both ways. Obviously, get a car you like. So we've said that a million times. So great question, Nathaniel. You pulled out a little bit, teased out a couple of points there. The second question is from Michael. You guys talk a lot about driving position related to visibility and safety. Could you all address the best way to find the correct driving position? Thanks, and love the show. Ryan, and we have different stature. So Ryan, maybe for you it's a different answer. So driving position.
Yeah, so for me, I'm kind of long in the torso. I'm like 6'2". So when I sit in the car, usually the first thing I do is slam the seat down because I feel like I'm too high. The biggest thing is to be comfortable because you need to be able to see it all the way around. Have a good reach to the steering wheel. When we do the teen driving school, the first thing we tell them to set their seat up is to put your hand, your arm over the steering wheel with your wrist, over the wheel, so that you have, when your hands are on the wheel, now you have a little bit of, your arms are a little bit bent. You're not reaching too far, and you're not too far away.
Driving like that. Yeah.
Exactly. The pedals. You obviously want to be able to reach the pedals comfortably. You don't want to be, your knees in the dash, and you don't want to be reaching for them. Your mirrors, obviously, adjust your mirrors right away. You want to, maybe get them so you can see the edge of the car and then go a little bit further just to get some of that blind spot. And you also have a reference at the car, where your car is.
Yeah, you don't want to be looking at your car in your side view mirrors because then it's not looking at the blind spot.
Right. And we've gotten a lot of feedback, to Talking Cars about that very point, tipping them a little further. I actually like the combo of blind spot warning because I like to use them to drive and have them seeing a little bit of the, so I like having the blind spot
If you're
warning to
parking and you don't
cover,
want to
yeah.
hit the curb, you kind of
Right.
want to be able to
It's
see a little bit.
it's very specific to the person. I mean, I get in the
Yes.
car every night out here, and someone else was in it, and I got to I don't even know.
Can you even get in?
Sometimes I can't even get in it because the seat's so far forward, right? But yeah, it's very specific to your body type, and but it's important to be comfortable and be able to see. Visibility is a big thing.
Yeah, I would be just the opposite of Ryan. I go very upright, bring the seat height very high. I have short legs, have to
go in,
pull
yeah.
forward. I just did an interview with NPR, and this very idea came
look at
up.
you.
I know, I was very fancy. So anyway, but what I
send in my
said
pledge.
is a lot of when you go to test drive a car,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're driving it. They take you out. A lot of test drive can be done without that car moving out of the dealer's lot. And I would
good point.
encourage people to do all of what you just said. Can I get comfortable here? Can I
Yeah.
reach things? Turn around.
Get
Can
in and
I
out of it.
see backwards to back up and park and merge?
Right.
So take some time. You know, you don't even need the dealer sitting in it with you. Say, hey, I'm going to take, you know, a half an hour and just sit here and play with the controls and everything. I think that's important because those little things can be kind of the deal breaker over even some of the bigger drivability things.
Right.
Any tips you got for setting up?
Oh gosh, I drive like a bus driver. I sit. It's terrible. I think I have a similar,
Yeah, you and I would
similar
be
seat when I get
good.
in there. What I find a lot of these newer cars, and I think it has to do with some of the airbags that are in the seats. I'm finding that it is harder to adjust the seat in a way that it's not tipping you back.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of stuff and a lot of components that they hide under the seat, and you can't tilt the seat bottom down the right way. And I found on a long drive, you know, it'll kind of dig into the bolster will dig into my thighs,
Right.
and that's an issue, especially in some sportier cars that I love to drive, but I just can't get comfortable in.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind.
We do find powered seats
Yeah.
have a little bit more infinite adjustment. You get those
Yes.
little
Little
you know, when they're
tweaks.
manual, you have those notches, and sometimes you're stuck between. You want to be right between two notches, and
Right.
you can't get there. It's not the end of the world, but we do. You know, we give extra points for powered seats.
Right. And
because
our
of that.
driving position scores, multiple statures, definitely
Right.
favor powered seats.
Yeah,
for
power
that
seats aren't
reason.
just
Yeah.
for luxury. It's also you can make that change if your leg's getting a little tired. You can just change it just a little
Right.
bit so you don't get fatigued while you're driving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next question, happens to be a tire question. What a
Uh-oh.
coincidence that Ryan is on today. So
They did that on purpose, I think.
We do. We just pull one up there. Hey, CR, I own a 2010 Infiniti G37X and currently have 4 Hankook Ventus S1 Noble 2 tires, and will soon need to be replaced. Should I stick with the ultra high performance all season category and buy the Michelin Pilot Sport AS3 Plus? Or would a Michelin Cross Climate provide similar enough handling? I would like tires that are equal to or better than my current setup. The Michelin Cross Climate is tempting because it scored really well in every category.
So, great car, by the way. That brings back fond memories. The G,
Sort of a
the
golden
good old
age.
days
Yeah.
of Infiniti sports cars, or sports sedans rather. So, the Hankooks are decent tires. The Michelin Pilot Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 3 Plus is a better tire
Both off
for
the top.
Right.
it's a UHP ultra high performance tire. So these are tires that can come on a sports sedan like this all the way up to a 911 Corvette, real extreme sports car kind of a tire. So the Michelin would be a better tire, and I would recommend that. The Cross Climate is actually it's in that size. So this is the thing with the Cross Climate, they don't have a lot of sizes.
Right.
And some of them, they're building more sizes, but right now they don't have a lot of sizes. So I'm not sure this car comes with a 225/55/17 or a 225/50/18. If you have the 17-inch, you can get the Cross Climate, and I definitely recommend that. It would be just about as sporty as the
Pilot?
Pilot, but if you have the 18, you can't. You're out of luck.
Because they don't have that size.
They don't have
yet.
that size.
Okay.
That being said, you could go down. That car came originally with a V speed rated tire, which is good for up to 149 miles per hour, which sounds ridiculous because no one drives that fast. But really what that means is it's a tire's ability to dissipate heat. So
Right. It's not a speed.
Right.
It should be
Right.
called
So
it's like a speed heat rating or something. It's one
Yeah.
of those.
Dissipation.
It does.
right?
It does. Where that comes from is they do test these tires. It's under a certain load, it can drive a certain duration of time before the tire becomes unsafe. So yeah, obviously this car came with a V speed rating from the factory, so you can stay at a V, which you're going to get. It's considered a performance all-season tire. You're going to get more wear. You're going to get a little more snow traction. I'm not sure if snow traction is a priority of yours or not. The Cross Climate obviously has that covered.
Right.
The Pilot Sport All Season 3 Plus will be a little
Maybe
bit
not.
less.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't work, you can get a Pure Contact, Continental Pure Contact LS, which is a
good
V speed rated
alternative
tire. Wears well. It's going to last longer. Good in the snow.
Yeah, so, and we talked about speed rating. Yes, it's heat dissipation, but typically
Right.
the higher speed rating also comes with higher
ab-
handling.
absolutely. So
Right,
you have to
so-
kind of weigh that out.
right.
But some these tires are getting better and better. So even a
Right.
performance all season
There's
tire, a
less
V speed rating
compromise,
is
yep.
pretty sporty,
Yep.
especially in a low aspect ratio.
Yep.
Meaning like the shorter sidewall. So I wouldn't be afraid to go down to the Pure Contact LS. And I keep saying down. It's not really down. It's actually right where that car probably should be.
Yeah.
He has those
are
Ventuses,
upgrades, right?
Yeah, they're ultra high performance tires. He actually went up a little bit, which is fine.
And you can use to put in a plug for, no pun intended, for our tire selector.
Right.
You can actually put this
Appreciate
in.
it.
Yeah, put in your car, and our tire selector will show you the tires
Right.
and if you're a member, the ratings.
Yeah.
Right,
And I
so-
love the fact that they're reading our ratings. They're
Yes.
paying attention. And
Love
I
it.
appreciate that.
And just you can go up, but not down.
Correct.
So
You don't wanna
even,
go down.
You know, the G37 came with the V. You don't want to go to an H
Right, you
or
want-
down, but
yeah.
up's okay.
All right. Absolutely.
So, cool. Great question.
Talking tires.
Great.
Talking
So,
tires.
final question is from Nathan. Love your show. Thank you, Nathan. I am interested in a new or used Hyundai, Mazda, or Subaru. However, I live in the country, as do we, Nathan. So, an hour drive to the nearest dealership. My hometown only has Ford, General Motors, and FCA, Fiat Chrysler dealerships. The local mechanic says they could not provide most service on foreign brands. How would you balance the convenience of a domestic car that I can get serviced in my hometown against the travel and time to service an import? Thanks. Keith, thoughts on that?
Well, I think we're in a location which is
Right.
pretty. I'm picking up a car later today, and I have to drive 45 miles, and it's one of the best-selling cars in America.
We're pretty rural.
And I also don't think that it's necessarily foreign or domestic. There are cars that cross those lines and
Right.
those sort of stereotypes. But you do want to think about especially if you're getting a new car, that even if you're getting a new car, that you might have a recall service that has to be done. You might have maintenance that has to be done. The maintenance might even be included when you purchase the car if you get that maintenance done at the dealership. Those are things you can plan. And if you're going to the city anyways, I imagine there are probably stores there or things that you want to pick up,
Right.
reasons to go there. Plan it the same day as your doctor's appointment or a trip to Target or something. You could. That's more of a lifestyle thing. But the issue is when a car breaks unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the tough one.
Yeah.
I would pick the reliability over.
Right, it's where reliability
That's got to
is
be your
gonna weigh in.
top thing. Especially either way, he lives a ways away from even the local dealers. So, like you said, any breakdown is a real inconvenience. When you can plan it, go get an oil change, and oil change, those basic things can be done anywhere.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to go to a dealer for that. But
Yeah, even the local person, if they can't do an oil change in a Mazda,
Right.
then they probably shouldn't be working on any of your cars. And I mean, the last thing you want is to break down, especially if you're in a rural area. And I think that driving around here when it's kind of late at night and I'm on a road and I haven't seen another car for a while, if I break down, it's going to take a while for that tow truck to come get to me.
Yeah.
So I want a reliable car, especially if I'm traveling long distances away from people.
Right. I was going to say that same thing. You break down in the woods, it's going to be a while till an Uber can get to you. So even if your dealership is in the same town, you're still stuck. The other thing I wanted to add is it might be worth shopping the service portion of those dealerships. What do they have? Can you get a loaner? Do they have a shuttle? So even if you have to drive that hour planned, is it easy for you to then continue with your life until your car
Read
is
some of the
repaired?
online reviews.
Yeah,
Right.
There's
the
some
review
online
of
reviews
dealership
of
service. Absolutely.
People don't experience the service until after they, usually bought the car.
Right.
And it can be totally different. They're run sometimes by different people in very different ways.
Yeah.
You can have an awesome dealership experience at sales and a cutthroat service department, or vice versa.
Right.
So look that up.
And domestic rural dealer may have a harder time getting parts. We've seen it with tires. They're not stocking every tire. Getting a tire there may take 2 or 3 days, whereas a more urban setting, they can get the tire quicker.
Right.
So there's all that to weigh in, and it's a big consideration. It's a great question, Nathan. So that does it for the show. As always, we thank you for watching. Keep the questions coming. TalkingCars@iCloud.com. Any information on any of the items we talked about today, all the electrics, see the show notes. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.